As a salesperson or entrepreneur, you should absolutely build a library of content you can lean on when times are good and when times are bad. That could be books, that could be articles, that could be podcasts, that could be recordings, and it can even be movies. Today, I've got the movie Joe Dirt, and I'm going to share with you why this is as close to the journey as salespeople have. I'm going to break it down for you. I'm Scott Bell, coming to you live for HVAC Technicians Sales Secrets on a perfect day to talk about sales and business, and a fantastic day to talk about you on video number 1111. I'm coming to you live from Honolulu, Oahu, my second home. Today is a perfect day to talk about Joe Dirt. So here's what's going to happen. I'm going to share the story with you. This movie's 20 years old. If you haven't seen it, definitely watch it. If you have seen it, this is going to make a ton of sense. So as a person in business, as a person in sales, we all go on a journey. And the journey has a lot of the same twists and turns, and I'm going to point them out. So Joe Dirt, in the beginning, is his family drops him off. So you start a new job, you start a new industry, you're kind of starting at zero. You're dropped off, you don't know anybody. And you look around, and you're like, hey, I'm alone. And then, you meet some people, and sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. So he goes to what the equivalent of an orphanage is. He's put in a halfway house. And so he has a couple of different people in the halfway house that treat him poorly. This is like business owners and managers. Sometimes you're like, why am I working here? Why am I working here? So he decides that he's going to take off, and he leaves. So in his journey, he finds a big ball of poop, right? And he thinks it's super valuable. And he's like, I'm going to go sell this ball of poop. So he takes it to a pawn shop. And the guy at the pawn shop goes, that thing's not that valuable. Sometimes you end up selling the wrong product and the wrong service. So he goes and he's walking and he's down and he looks down and he finds some money. Sometimes at your worst moment, you're like, I got the best idea, the best strategy, and it brings me the money. So then he comes across a lady who's selling his dream car. You have your dream thing that you want. I've got my dream thing that I want, right? Mine's a house on the North Shore here on Oahu, right? And it's a Dodge. It's a Dodge, and this lady's willing to sell it to him because she offed her husband. She didn't do nice things to her husband. And so he gets in a hot air balloon and he's trying to buy this car, and he gets pulled way off path and ends up working on an oil rig, gets in fights, things don't go well for him. So he's like, I'm done. I don't know how many salespeople that I've talked to that have had this same exact journey. They're living through it today. They lived through it last month. And then here comes the silver lining. Just when you think everything's going down, just when you think all the problems, Joe Dirt kicks in. The movie kicks in. He finds a dog, and the dog's hurt, and he helps the dog. And then a woman comes to his aid, and he makes a really good friend, and they're able to go out and do really cool things, and she believes in him. And she's like, hey, Joe Dirt, you're great. You're good at what you do. And what happens is, as you move along, you have the same thing happen in your life. You meet people, and they're like, you're amazing. You're fantastic. You're the greatest thing since sliced bread. And you go, yes. And then what happens? Kid Rock shows up. Kid Rock is a hater. Tells Joe Dirt that he needs to leave. So Joe Dirt leaves. Like, we have people who shouldn't do what you're doing. It's not good. And you know that you're on your mission and purpose. You know that you got things that you got to achieve. So then he moves, and he makes a new friend and saves his new friend. And then he's like, you know what? I'm going to go back to the town that I started in. I'm going to go back to my friends. I'm going to go back to my relationships. I promise you, I can't tell you how many times that when you study the journey of a lot of salespeople, how many times Joe Dirt comes up and it goes through. But you're like, hey, Scott, what does this have to do with me? That's like a 3-minute story, 3.5, 4-minute story about Joe Dirt. As you go through these problems, as you go through these pains, you should absolutely have a game plan. And if you can learn anything, it's to rely on your friendships. It's to rely on the things that you built. It's to rely on your processes. It's to rely on your ideas. And sometimes the people who started out of your enemies come back to be your friends. Sometimes the things that were the toughest to learn turn out to be the best lesson you could have ever had. I highly encourage you to go this week, this month, to watch Joe Dirt and compare it to your journey as a salesperson, to compare it to your journey to success as an entrepreneur. Because what you're going to find is there's a lot of similarities. There's a lot of the common obstacles as you break these things down. I just want to let you know that I appreciate you on video number 1111 on this YouTube channel. Looking forward to connecting with you soon. You got one of 3 things to do from here. Just one of 3. Find the subscribe button, click on it. Every time I send out a video, you'll get an update. 2, hit follow. 3, you know what you got to do. Share this video with a friend. We'll see you soon. Aloha and mahalo.